Welcome back to the PMRR Layout Build. This is a construction update for a really good day, what I've got to honestly say. I probably started this shed probably about maybe 6 months ago, as in I took away an old decking area, stripped the ground out, built the shed, insulated it, plied it, got the electrics put in, and then started planning a layout to fit it. And 6 months later, I've finally put in the last board for the last baseboard. Still a lot of track to go down, but the last baseboard's built. All I really need to do is go around and finish the facing and the valance bits and pieces, but that'll get done later on. So I'm really pleased. So I'll take you around and show you what I've done. I'm building this layout for operation, so I'm kind of hoping maybe 3, maximum 4 people probably, for space wise, will be able to operate the shed. So one of them is going to operate Bison Yard, which is a control panel for it here, John Bowman built. And we come down, if we just swing around the bottom, that's Bison Yard at the bottom. There's 6 lanes. It's absolutely disgusting, but there's 6 lanes about 15 feet long. The very first lane at the back, which is in the lighter ballast, is actually the inbound track where everything comes into. So there's no storage kept in that at all. The inbound track, everything sits there and then gets taken off the main train and then gets sorted into the 5 lines that's passed here. I'm just simulating that these are going to go off to different places. I don't know where, maybe somewhere like New York or Chicago or something like that. I'll wait and see near the time. But right now it's a Bison Yard. All my main storage, stock and everything's getting held there. As I come around to the top of the Bison Yard, as you can see, I've fitted the back scenes, which was from Woodland Scenics. I got these. I think I got the 2 sets of the trees. They're really effective, but for all you're going to see when you're standing up, if you're at head height for me, which is up here, then you really can't see it. But if you're down at the bottom end and you're maybe operating the yard, which I'm planning to maybe sit in a stool or something, then it gives you something nice to look at. I need to finish off the ballasting and everything down here. So as we come around the top, at the top end here, we're going to have some holding staging for locos. There's going to be a wee steam facility here. I've got a Challenger, UP Challenger, and I'm planning to buy a couple other ones. So I'm going to have a cooling station and things just at the very first side in there where the Iron Brew kind of container is. And that'll just be for steam. It's just for preserve steaming in case somebody wants to bring a train, then take it for there. Out the yard, you swing around the back, around past the panel. The panel operates everything, all the switches. There's track detection on the panel. If I can get out the light and show you. So I don't know if you can see, the yellow LEDs indicate which way the point is going, and the red LEDs indicate if there's a loco sitting in the line. So it's kind of to help you when you're looking down the line. You can kind of know you're in the right track. As we swing around the back there, and then down past into my passing siding loop, which seems like I built forever ago. That's the bottom passing loop, which takes you down and round into the helix at the bottom end there, which spirals up. And also, sorry for zooming you about here, where the wire is at the back, that's the head shunt for the yard. So you can actually take the back line in there. If you can see, it's a bit dark, sorry. Take the back line through the back there, and that takes you along into head shunt. So that's good. I'm really pleased with that. That's tracked, wired, everything. Then you come down into the helix. So then there's 2.5 turns on the helix, which takes you up to this level, which is just under the main level. The main level's up here. It takes you into there, and this is your exit off the helix along here into the top passing loop, which sits just underneath what will be Altoon Yard. So this is a north passing loop here. That allows, because the helix is only single track, that allows a full train to sit here if there's something in the helix, and allow something to pass. So it's not for storage, it's literally for operation. So you're going to have to basically contact the dispatcher, who's actually going to be sitting over here, and he's going to control all the main line. So the very first point that the dispatcher takes from is this one off the helix, and then he controls everything up round onto the main line, and he controls everything from there. but I'll come to the dispatcher in a wee minute. So as you come round off the main passing loop at the top of the helix, you come round underneath onto this side here. So I'm going to put a tunnel entrance in here. This will come through, and then this takes you into what is now, it was going to be Lake Erie Dock, but it's now going to be, this is going to be Driftwood Mine in here. I didn't have the space at the far side over here to do the mine justice, and the main thing I want to use in this is coal. So I've decided to move the coal mine into here. So this is going to have my coal mine in it, my empties and my loaded ones are going to be coming down into this. And then as we come up here a little bit, where the sewer loco is, there's going to be Iron City Brewing, which is a Pittsburgh brewery. And then as you come up where my carpet's currently sitting after being cleaned, this is going to be Armour Packaging Plant in here. It's going to be a slaughterhouse, cattle pens, bit of packaging in there. These three things just give me different things that I can use at the different wagons and different cars and things like that. From the front line here, as you pass them, you're going to head round the top of the helix, coming round to here, which is Altoon Yard. But I'll show you that in a second, because there's just something to show you on this side. So over here was going to be my Driftwood Mine. So as you can see from my plan here, you come off underneath here, which is actually this one. So there's the Erie passing loop, which comes off the helix, comes under, and then point D here is the same as point D here. And then that swings round and comes out into the yard. And then you go down through. So this used to be this was going to be a chemical plant, and my mine was going to be down here, but I really didn't have the space to fit all this, and I wanted this to look a bit better. So I've swapped the chemical plant down to here and then put the mine up in here, because the chemical plant is just to allow me use different types of tank cars and things like that. So as you come round the back there, you go over the top of the tunnel entrance and you'll swing round into here. And this is going to be a big chemical plant. So that board's just to show my radius, but that comes in at a couple of points. We've got a hedge along, like where my tanks are going to sit down the bottom for loading and unloading different types of materials. We've got a passing side in, coming along the side up here, coming down into this, and then there's a small head shunt just to swing a loco around from one side to the other. So I didn't really have enough room in here to do the mine justice. So I moved the chemical plant up here because it's like a secondary thing. But the mine is the main thing up here, so I've swapped it into that area there, so that should give me plenty of room. So there's a swap round from this side, and I come round and I swing over the top of the helix. We're rising up a couple of inches. So in here where my keys and everything are sitting, that's going to be Armour Packaging into there. So that, but we're going to have like a hillside with a wee small tunnel here, just as it comes to this point, to block off coming round the corner. I'm going to do a cutting or something like that. Maybe do something, see what happens there. As we come round the top here, this is coming round into Altoon Yard. So as we come straight down that main track on the inside here, this is the main line. So again, this point here is going to be controlled by the CTC machine, which you're going to locate behind me. But everything else is going to be hand thrown. So the trains can pull in and go straight through, or they can come off here and sit in this here to be broken down, because there's going to be a lot of sidings up in this area and here for this area. And then as we come back along, there's a couple of points down the bottom, the track that's coming back just to where the milk carton is, just here. That area up in there is going to be my engine servicing facility. So there's going to be a couple of diesel sheds in there, fueling point, my maintenance away stuff's going to sit in there. So basically, if somebody brings if I have a running session and somebody brings a locomotive in, everybody's locomotive starts at the diesel facility. They have to fuel it, sand it, has to be safety checked, and then it starts its day work from there. Either going all the way back down to Bison Yard to pick up its first train, or there may be something sitting in Altoon Yard for it to collect to then take out where it needs to go from there. So that'll be how that works. I'm planning to run everything through JMRI switch lists. So I've had a shot at it just now, and I've ran a couple of practice one. Everything seems to work quite well. So there'll be another yard down in this area. down at Altoon Yard, what's going to be down here. And then when you get to this point at the top, it's a Y point. If you're going to go left, you're going to disappear around the corner with the track not in yet. That's going to take you around to the chemical plant now, the higher chemical plant up there. And the track to the right swings all the way around the top here and brings you all the way around to Edgar Thomson Steelworks. So I've laid the tracks until here. At that point is in. It's not wired. It needs to be wired up, and then the point motor added in. We're going to have. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here, but the plan for Edgar Thomas is for D9 is dispatcher point up to D10. So I'm going to have to work out the track plan in there and try and see what best fits, because I'm not going to fit all that in. I've had to make the shelf a tiny bit smaller than what I had drawn up initially in any rail. So that's going to change slightly, but the basis is going to stay the same. And then as you come round to the top end here, as you come past the last dispatcher control point, which is this one, you're going to swing round to the top, and I'm going to put Union Station in, a station in here, and then the start of a town just at this corner, really just the edges of it with a bigger station at the side of it. The station was only really put in, and it may change, that it was only really put in to give the dispatcher a train to run. So it was going to be a non-stop from the yard down at the bottom here all the way up through the helix up to here and then back. So it was just to put an additional train in, and people had to keep the way clear and things like that for it to run through. I know in America your freight takes priority over your passenger. In Britain it's the other way around. But in this case I'm going to kind of use the British ethos where the passenger train must get through, and then the rest of it has to kind of wait to suit. Maybe add a wee operational element in there for that. So that's the main build. The very last board I built was this edge board here, which is good. This last section just up here for the head shunt. So that was my very last structural baseboard put in. I've still got all the track to wire. If you can see, there's a lot of wires dangling down. It needs to be connected up to things, but as I was talking about, I have a CTC machine, so all the wires are going to be here, are going to head up through the double joist up through there, up to the far side at the bottom, come that down and then head over this direction. And this is where my CTC machine is going to sit. So my dispatcher will sit in here. So if I just back up and let you see it a bit. So that's the starter in my dispatcher panel. In Scotland it's never very warm, so I'll just move that here out of the way. So this is the start of my dispatcher panel, which is going to sit here. There's 10, I think there's 10 holders there for car cards, and that means I can fit 2 7-foot trains in each of my long sidings in Bison Yard, complete without ready to run to the degree. So they're sitting there with trains made up for them. Then the small section above it, which is just this part here, is going to have a track plan for Bison Yard. This part here is going to be the CTC element. That's going to have all my switches and signals on it to tell you the direction that things are going and whether you've got red or green lights and things. And then the area above here is going to be the track plan actually lit up. So that'll show you the different elements. All the area for the CTC of track detection, so it'll tell you if something's sitting in it. I really like that element operation from an American videos and things I've been watching over the past while. Something I wanted to bring in to my layout if possible. It was a CTC machine, and just adds an extra dimension. So you had to, if you'd done your works in the yard and then you wanted to bring your train out onto the main line and move it to somewhere, you had to contact dispatch, which you would do in the real world, to say that you want to move things on. But I didn't want to, if I was in here playing trains myself, I didn't want to have to run back and forward to this all the time to have to switch a point and then run back, well not run, but move back to move it, then potentially have to come back to change the point again. So we're going to wire it in such a way that each of the points for the CTC, one of them would be this one, will have a small control panel here that'll allow you locally. I can flip a switch in the CTC machine, and that allows me to locally change all the points. So I can switch the CTC machine to a local, and it just means if I'm standing here and I'm bringing a train around I want to take it to the yard, I can switch it here, and I'm not having to run back and forward, and then if I'm down the bottom end, I can switch it down the bottom end as well. So for the past 6 months, the progress has been rapid and unbelievable. Of the lower level track work going in, and everything has just been so fast. I mean, the place is a real mess now, but all my saw cutting to a degree is done. Everything's done. The track's disgusting. It needs cleaned. So I need to get in with the wife's hoover when she's not looking, and get everything cleaned up and get it sorted. But at least now I can get rid of all the sheets, all the offcuts sheets and that I've got. The only thing, as I say, I need to do is now finish the front face off. Each hit, put a facing board in and put a valance at the top. Most of the support timber for the valance is in. I've just added a few support timbers for the going around the top of the helix. We have a 6-inch valance board along the top. That'll have some lighting. That'll hide the lighting and the wiring sitting in behind it, and just give it. I want to give it like a picture box kind of look. So the main lighting will go off, and you'll just be working off the layout lighting. There'll be a white light and a blue light for nighttime running, and the blue light will be dimmable. So you can have it either or. I'm not going to have it where you can have both, but I'll have it either or. You can either have a bright blue light, or you can have it like a dull blue light. So it just gives a wee bit of interest, and I thought if I wire it in just now, I can use it as and when I kind of need it. So I'm really pleased with it. There's been a lot of good feedback on my Facebook page, a lot of good help and things, and a lot of people have made comments and been really supportive on my YouTube channel. It's just really just documenting things as I'm going, and I appreciate it, and I thank everybody for it, and the people that take their time to actually watch these videos. It's really good. I get a lot of inspiration off a lot of different YouTubers over in America, and there's a lot of them here. NS Modeler, one of them. He's his operations in that and his tracks are phenomenal, and it's something I would hope to get to that stage at some point in time. But just thank you very much for watching. Drop a like and subscribe if you've never seen it before. If you have any questions, just pop them in chat and I'll answer them. I'll give you another update in end of February. Should have a lot of track down. Hopefully by that point I'll have a lot more track down, and everything should be a lot cleaner. Hopefully get a bit more ballasting done at that point, and potentially the CTC machine might be wired by that point, and then I can be testing that. So take it easy and all the best. Thank you. Bye.